Welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We're on the way to 4,600 subscribers, and today, an Ornstein exclusive out of nowhere about an Arsenal signing, a goalkeeper, David Raya of Brentford. This came out this afternoon. Exclusive, Arsenal exploring deal to sign Brentford goalkeeper David Raya. No bid yet, but Brentford are aware of the interest. Bayern are also pursuing the 27-year-old, but the 27-year-old is keen to join Arsenal. Nottingham Forest are considering Matt Turner, gap in valuations, but dialogue ongoing. Fabrizio Romano then followed that up by saying David Raya prefers Arsenal over Bayern. Deal depends on clubs now, but Arsenal are expected to bid soon to accelerate talks. Negotiations with Bayern are currently off after a loan offer this morning, not what the player or Brentford wanted. And then Team News and Ticks followed that up by saying, basically he'd got a screenshot of someone had messaged him saying, apparently we're going for David Raya. He said the apparently made me not post it. That was last Thursday. He said, I think Bayern are looking at David De Gea, which should give us a free run. And then Chelsea were thought to be interested, but are looking at another Premier League-based goalkeeper. It then came out from Nathan Gissing that Chelsea have internally decided on targeting Brighton's Robert Sanchez as the goalkeeper to provide competition for Kepa Arrizabalaga. So, ultimately, Arsenal are in for David Raya, and we may well have a free run at him. And Matt Turner is potentially leaving. So on Matt Turner, this came from Ornstein. Arsenal goalkeeper Matt Turner is being considered by Nottingham Forest. There is distance between the club's valuations for Turner and no guarantee a move will happen. Arsenal know Forest are looking at Turner and dialogue continues. Fabrizio Romano then said Nottingham Forest will only sign one goalkeeper this summer between Matt Turner and Dean Henderson of Man United. Forest already asked Arsenal for final conditions of a Turner deal, and it would be a permanent transfer. So a lot to take in there, and just really has completely caught people off guard. At first, people thought that Raya would be coming in as a replacement for Aaron Ramsdale. I think it's clear that's not going to happen, and I'll get into the conversation around Aaron Ramsdale. But ultimately, I think this move is fantastic. David Raya coming in as a replacement to Matt Turner massively increases the depth in our goalkeeping department. It also puts huge pressure on Aaron Ramsdale, and I think Ramsdale thrives under pressure. If you look at Ramsdale's best performances across the board, it's when he's under pressure. It's those big away games that he normally pulls out crazy saves against Villa and Spurs. And so I do genuinely believe this is perfect all round. You've got a backup or potential first-team goalkeeper in David Raya, who is one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. You've got Aaron Ramsdale forced to play at his absolute best week in, week out. And I do think there is an issue where Ramsdale can switch off. He can get bored. He can get complacent, and we see mistakes made. This will stop that happening. And it happened because he knew, in reality, Matt Turner was never going to replace Aaron Ramsdale as the number one. In terms of how much we could expect to get David Raya for, some people are saying around 30 million. Apparently, originally Brentford wanted 40 million, but they have already bought a new keeper. So, you know, they do need to get him out the door. Now, 30 to 40 million would be more than we spent on Aaron Ramsdale. And so if you looked at it a really basic way, you know, some people have jumped to the conclusion that therefore he'd be the first team goalkeeper. I don't think he would. I think naturally he would come in and have to fight Ramsdale for the spot in the same way that when Ramsdale came in, he had to fight the spot off Leno. And I think it would be far harder for Raya to fight the spot off Ramsdale than it was for Ramsdale to fight it off Leno. You've also got to bear in mind, 2 months ago, in May, Aaron Ramsdale signed a new 4-year contract on double the wages he was already on, which was a reward for his performances. So Arsenal have not then 2 months later gone, do you know what, actually, we need a new goalkeeper. So this is 100% a signing or potential signing to come in and be competition for Ramsdale, not a replacement for Ramsdale. And I think it's a massive sign of where Arsenal are and the ambition at this club right now. Because at the start of the window, Tottenham Hotspur wanted David Raya as their number one. Manchester United would have liked David Raya as their number one. And we're looking at bringing him in as competition for our number one from Aaron Ramsdale. So it would be absolutely sensational. Why Chelsea are looking at Robert Sanchez, I don't know. But apparently David Raya wants Arsenal. Clearly, by the way, if Raya wants Arsenal over other teams, he believes that he can replace Aaron Ramsdale. And that's good. That's the sort of confidence that you want. He believes he can come in and replace Aaron Ramsdale. And of course, Raya himself is only 27. He's still a relatively young goalkeeper. And he was top of the charts for so many different statistics in the Premier League last season. His distribution is exceptional. Long and short range distribution is fantastic. He's fantastic at collecting corners. He's fantastic as a sweeper keeper. Saves from outside the box, he was #1. Now, you do have to factor in, right? Now, the distribution, they are exceptional stats because he's playing for Brentford. Whenever it comes to shot stopping and saves and stuff like that, you always have to factor in he's playing for a team that's conceding more shots. It's why, if you ever look at the top of the charts for things like XG saved and stuff like that, it's always goalkeepers from teams that are not as good that concede more chances. Now, Brentford were relatively good last season, so that's, Raya is a fantastic goalkeeper. That's the be-all and end-all is Raya is a fantastic goalkeeper. He could take the #1 spot from Aaron Ramsdale, absolutely. But it will take time. He's not going to come in and immediately replace Aaron Ramsdale. I think one thing that I've seen a lot of, this constant bashing of Ramsdale for his penalty saving. Now, yes, he's not very good at saving penalties. Actually, of Ramsdale's 33 penalties faced, 24 have gone in. 9 have either missed or been saved. Of David Raya's 36 penalties faced, 31 have gone in. Only 5 have missed or been saved. And so Raya isn't an upgrade on Ramsdale in terms of penalty saving. But that whole thing is massively overweighted. For some reason, people massively overweight how important penalty saving is when judging a goalkeeper. Ultimately, I mean, there are a lot of keepers that will go a whole season without saving a penalty because they might only face 3 or 4. And if you concede 3 or 4, that's not necessarily because you're bad at saving penalties. So it's a massively overweighted statistic that doesn't massively matter. And the fact that Ramsdale's not great at it doesn't massively matter. But I think Ramsdale, this should light a massive fire under Aaron Ramsdale. Because clearly, even if it's not Raya being brought in to replace him, it's a signal to Ramsdale, your place isn't set. You're not comfortable in your place because we can bring in a David Raya who can fight for that spot. The final question, I guess, that you would ask is this what we should be spending our money on? Now, depending on what money you can get for Matt Turner, I believe around 15 million is potentially what we're looking for. So that means, obviously, if you bring in Raya for, let's say, 35 and you get rid of Matt Turner for 15, that's a net 20 million spend. Is that where we should be spending the money? Going into next season, is a goalkeeper where we should be spending 20 million? If we've got 1 more signing left in the bank or 2 more signings left in the bank, or would you rather a backup for Bukayo Saka, a proper backup for Bukayo Saka? Would you rather another 8, a box-to-box midfielder, a Kudus, for example? There's no guarantees that buying Raya stops you from getting a Kudus anyway. We don't know how that's going to pan out, and we won't know until the end of the transfer window. But ultimately, I think the fact that none of us really saw this coming, I don't think anyone, certainly not in any of the live streams that we've had, have discussed the need for a new keeper. So it's an interesting one that really felt like it came out of the blue. The sources are top-tier sources on it, and we could expect to see a bid for David Raya next week. So, I mean, ultimately, look, it's very exciting. It absolutely improves the squad. No matter what way you look at it, it massively improves the squad. And so there we go. That's it. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do subscribe if you've not subscribed already. Smash a like on the video. And I'll be live at 5 PM tomorrow for a live stream as usual. Enjoy your evenings. Cheers.